That says streaming now live on Facebook.
Okay, I think I got it. I got it. And what I have here. Okay, good. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. This is the newest episode of the Truth Runners Talk Show. I'm so happy and really excited to host this show again because I have really amazing and wonderful people with me. Today, I'm in conversation with one of the contributing authors of The Courage to Rise, a book that explores what happens after the turning point, after the moment things shift, and for you, continuing the same way is no longer an option. So today, again, with my wonderful guest, rather than focusing on what happened, we will explore how she thinks, decides, and moves forward now. Because I think, and for me, this is where real rising begins. So I would love to welcome you from the bottom of my heart, Melvinia.
I love to be on your show, and it is such a pleasure to also be a part of this wonderful new book writing that you have. It's just a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you said yes because I must say that your chapter is absolutely phenomenal. But before we go into that and we talk about the chapter and the writing, I would love to take a moment to introduce you. So you guys, if you are watching this for the first time, okay, then please allow me to introduce Melvinia. She's a holistic life coach, counselor, and metaphysical minister dedicated to empowering women through deep emotional and spiritual healing. She is certified in Reiki, meditation, breathwork, touch therapy, CBT, and art therapy. Melvinia is an alumna of University of Metaphysics and currently pursuing her doctorate, in addition to holding a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice and a Master's in Management. She is also a certified teacher of EAS, Empower, Achieve, Succeed Master Program. She trained under her mentor, Dr. Enolia Harris Pedro. Her work centers on helping women heal from trauma, depression, abandonment, and abuse by reconnecting to their inner power. Melvinia is the author of What the Hell? A Life Testimony, a reflection of her 20-plus year healing journey. Through her work, she inspires others to discover that true healing begins within. And I love that, and I love your journey. So once again, it's amazing to have you here and to have you in my life, really. And before we go really in the conversation, really deep, I would love to ask you, Mel, how would you describe where you are in life right now? Wow.
If I were to say, if I were to say right now that I knew I was going to be here, I'd be lying. I had no idea that this moment where I am right now, I would be doing what I'm doing. I am out of my comfort zone completely. And it's a scary moment, but you always hear people say, do it scared. I am literally doing it scared. Every day, I have no clue what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing because it's a part of the journey. It's part of the healing process for me, as well as, being that light for other women as well. But I'm happy. I wish I could do it a little bit more, but I'm also taking my time in it so I don't push myself over the edge and sometimes we're going to jump into things so fast and so furious until we take on too much. And that's the one thing I don't want to do is take on too much until I burn out before I even get started. So I'm just enjoying each moment, learning as I'm growing in it. This next phase, after life coaching and counseling, now I'm adding in outreach to women as well. So it's massive.
And that's wonderful what you are doing because you actually, reading reading your bio, reading your resume. It's a very wide, it's like not that, sometimes people, they focus only on one thing. Okay, I'm doing breathwork, I'm only do that. But you, beside having a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice, right, you have a Master's in Management. We you, like me as well, we went on kind of the other side of the story as well, when we learned, and you learned as well, like touch therapy, and you did EAS as well. Um, I would love to ask you along this journey, because this is, and you are still changing, right? You are doing now the outreach program, which is again something completely different, something new. It keeps you always, there is always something what keeps you moving and excited. Okay, and I would love to ask you, in all these years, was there a moment where, for you, continuing the same way, you felt like it's kind of impossible, so you need to change?
That was recent. That was over, I would have to say it had to be last year when I knew, okay, something has to change. And life was changing, and I was still, even though I had gone through a lot of healing processes, I still had not changed. I still had not changed my habits. I still had not learned to say no. I still had not let go of things that I felt I needed to let go of, to take care of myself first. And it wasn't easy because I've always been that type of a person where I'm always trying to please other people or make them happy or do what I felt that I needed to do to keep them at peace with me and love me, and I wouldn't lose them. And I had to get to that point where it's like, okay, Melvina, when do you come first? So for me, it was that was, I would have to say, last year was the drawing point because a lot happened in the beginning of the year. Um, Good things and so not good things. And it put me in a place where I was literally very close to a nervous breakdown. Very close. And I'm thankful that I knew what to do to, catch myself before I did crash. But it was an eye opener, and it was telling me, Melvina, you got to get it together. We understand. It's okay that you want to be there for people, but sometimes you got to start and being there for yourself. It's okay to say no, even to those you love. It's okay to push back. It's okay. And if they love you, they're going to understand. They're going to support you as much as you supported them. And if they don't, it's fine because it's a journey. That's the one thing I had. It's only a journey. It's only an experience. And then that tackles into the spiritual side of things that you would understand more. So it was more than a notion. And when I find it was a struggle. It brought up some more of the past things that from the onion that needed to be peeled in a healing process. Um, Made it through it. Had some confessions. Had to face myself, face my journey first, face my pain and healing. But this year, when I look at it now, I'm like, it needed to happen.
Thank
So
you.
I'm better for it. You're
Thank you for
welcome.
sharing that. And I'm thanking you because that takes courage. And I admire your courage. And it also takes a lot of self awareness, really. We think that when we have a journey and we go through this healing process, that everything is going to be smooth, everything is going to be pink. No, it's not like that, because life happens, things happen. Yes, as you said, you almost had a nervous breakdown. Yes, it can happen even to the best of us. But but the thing is that, as you said, you caught the moment and you said, no, I can't go there, because you had the self-awareness, you had the techniques, and you know yourself better than before. And that's a huge change. And I love it, when we say, and when we talk about the courage to rise, literally for me this means the courage to rise. When we change and when we shift and when we recognize, and then we break down and we go hit rock bottom, and then we stand up again, and that keep rising and rising, that's the courage to rise for me. It's not just one moment, it's not just one breakthrough. It's it's constantly happening. Okay, so
Yes.
along the way, what was there something you had to stop believing in yourself? What was that you had to stop believing about yourself in order to continue and to be? You mentioned something, the people pleasing, right?
Mhm.
So,
Definitely, it was people pleasing, and also to tag on to that was my own self worth. We think that we say those words, we pretend those words, but when it really comes down to it, are we really acting and walking in those words? Are you truly worthy? Yes, I'm worthy, but yet you're still doing for everyone else. And the thing apart, we forget that we're part human as well. We're spirit, but we're also part human. So the human side wants to please people all the time. We want to care, we want to be loved, we want to be seen as, and that's not going to happen. And when we come to the realization and understanding that it's not, you're not going to make everyone happy, you're not going to please everyone, and no matter how many times that you do for certain people, they're not going to do for you. That's just not what it is. And that's the lesson that we have to learn. We're so busy trying to, well, if I just do this, and if I do this, and if I do this, no, look at it for what it is. And then if they're not doing and you're consistently doing, you need to ask yourself the question, why am I? What is it that's making me do or put myself in this position to continually keep this thing perpetuating and causing my own self-harm? It's a self-reflection moment. It takes a lot out of a person to stop. So yeah, people pleasing and knowing my own self-worth. It's one thing to say it in your head. It's another thing to know it and act upon it in your heart.
True. How would you define now with Melvinia now, with at this age, at this point in this very moment, how would you define self-worth?
Oh, I'm definitely worthy now.
How would you define
Now,
it? What is that? What is self-worth? How would you define it really? Because I'm still trying to find, we talk a lot about self-worth. As you said, we say it out loud. Yeah, I know I'm worthy, I'm doing things. But if I have to really define it, when is it when I'm truly feeling worthy?
when when you stepped out, you know what? To be honest, for me, it's when you actually step out and do the hard things. When you do those things that you always say that you should do, you tell yourself that you should do. That's when you know and you're there, because you once you said it, you've gone through, you face the fear. You face the fear and you're going, "Oh, I did it." So now it's like you're not asking someone else, "Am I worthy?" You're telling yourself you are worthy, and you just proved it to you. Prove it to yourself. You prove it to yourself before you prove it to anyone else, or you're proving it to yourself while you're pushing back. You're in the midst of it while you're doing it. So for me, that's what it ended up being. It wasn't about, okay, I'm going to do this at this time. I'm not talking myself through. I'm not. It doesn't even require meditation. It's just action into being. Whatever you're doing, prove it. If you're worthy, prove it to yourself. Not because you're trying to be out here, you want to be you gotta stick my chest out and have to prove something to anyone else. Just step into it. Do it scared, just like I said earlier. You're scared, you feel like it. Okay, I need it. Are you worthy? Are you truly worthy? Do you feel like you're worthy? Okay, then show yourself you're worthy. Do the hard work. Do what it is tell that person no. Push back if you need to, and don't worry about how it comes out, because if they love you, they're going to accept it. If they don't, they're not, and they're going to move on. It's going to give you room to be who you can be, who you need to be to breathe. And that means that person was just a lesson for you. And that's where we mess up at. We forget that sometimes people in our lives are not just to be a friend, a best friend, or whatever in a relationship. Sometimes they're just that lesson so you can get to that point where you feel you're worthy.
It's true. That's
And
beautifully
that's
said,
it.
and I love the way that you said that. Just do it scared and do it despite fear, because fear is gonna be always there, and you don't have to prove it to anyone else, but prove it to yourself, right? Fear is a big one. Okay, it's a recurring theme in our conversations in Truth Runners, really, because all of us we have this fear, but what fear is in reality, and we are stopping ourselves from doing things what we actually love, and as you said, we how we could be able, to prove to ourselves that yes, we are worthy. So, self-worth, and that's a huge, I think that's a big theme. I think we could talk about that in a different edition, right? Um, but Um, before, what is it that you are no longer tolerate? What is something that you no longer tolerate from yourself or others?
How do you pick just one?
You don't have to pick just one. I have many things I
Speaking,
don't
one
tolerate
thing I don't
anymore.
tolerate is basically using my voice. One of them is I don't tolerate people just to say what they want to say to me, and I don't speak up for myself. And sometimes it may because understanding the different aspects of myself and learning also to honor those aspects because each of us have so many different aspects and they may come across in a negative fashion, but if you deny them, that's not helping you become the person you need to be. So understanding that piece of myself has helped me to step into who I am now, you know, using my voice, saying no. And then also in that same space, understanding that while you have the power and you know you can speak up for yourself sometimes, knowing that there are some places and spaces like, is it really going to be heard? After you say what you said, you might feel a little bit better, but is it really going to be received? So even in that aspect, speaking this now, there are parts of me in my in certain aspects. It's like, I really want to tell them off. But guess what? It's not going to change anything. They're not going to hear me. They're not going to care. So why am I wasting it? So I struggle. And this is me being completely transparent. I struggle with that because there are times it's like, I don't care if they don't want, I just feel better if I told them off anyway because they need to hear it, you know? And that's being real. That's another thing. Be honest with yourself. It helps to understand yourself and be honest. If this is not how you feel, don't honor it. If this is how you feel, stand on it. Believe in it. Don't let someone else's beliefs change what your beliefs are. That's each of us are individual for a reason. And some people don't like the fact that you say what you say because they're triggered. That's not your problem. Their triggers are not your problem. Your triggers are your problem. If it triggers them, then they need to look at themselves.
And if it triggers me, I have to look in myself. So, so I would love to. So,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. We were, we were talking. I'm sorry, guys. It's just Melvina was. So
Breathe.
we were talking about using your voice, and with that, let's go into your chapter. Because your chapter is about finding your voice without telling too much, okay? Because this is just a reminder, everyone who are watching now or you're going to watch the replay. We're going to release the book on the 15th of May, The Courage to Rise. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that again, okay? So bear with Christina. We're going to release the book on the 15th of May, The Courage to Rise, with some amazing, wonderful women. And I must say, Melvina, you had a very, very, very powerful chapter. So let's talk a little bit about that without giving up too much.
Okay. So this chapter, when I wrote it, when I started writing it, it was very basic. Okay, let's talk about this, let's talk about this, and let's talk about this. But then I had to do a deeper dive into each of the pieces of it because each piece of it was really, wow, emotional for me. When you look back at it, you're looking at it from the outside looking in at that point. When you're in the midst of it, you're just in the midst of it. You're just trying to figure it all out. But then once you've gone through it or past it, you're stepping into it and you're going, oh, wow, I didn't see that piece of it. I didn't see that part of it. And then you start to peel the onion and you go, okay, well, how did that make you feel? What did you feel at that point? And how do you feel now? And what is the outcome of how that happened versus where you are now? So the same questions that you asked me earlier, that's pretty much how each piece of that came about. It was like, oh wow, I didn't, you think you're done with something, but we don't realize that in healing is a lifetime, first of all, because of a lot of the things that we went through as a child. as a young adult, as a teenager. We start to heal from those things when we're older because we have time to sit back and go, wait a minute, what was that? And all of the emotional trauma and the drama and everything that we held in that's been repressed, we finally have the capacity to talk about it and really talk about it if we choose to really look at it with fine lines. Put your glasses on and really go deep with it and go, I didn't see that. You get to understand, you get to actually have those emotions that you weren't allowed to have before. Me growing up, I wasn't allowed to cry, wasn't allowed to do this, I wasn't allowed to do that. But as an adult, it feels good to look at those things and finally have the release that you weren't allowed to have back then. And some people may not understand it, but that was my courage. That was the basically my courage to rise from those situations and be able to look back and say, oh, and it feels good to let it go. I can finally let it go and put it at peace and take away any guilt or any pain or shame or whatever was given to me from any of those situations, whether it be a young child or whether it be even now, like last year or something. However it came, you can put it, it doesn't have to wait 20 years to heal. Let's just put it like that. You don't have to wait 20 years to heal. You can nip it in the bud. Now, granted, as a child, that's not always easy. But as soon as you get a chance to have a voice, it's okay. Talk about it in a hopefully healthy manner, because anger has never helped anyone heal. It's there for a reason, but I feel like it's needed to help you heal. Be angry. Understand the anger, but use it to heal you, not to be angry at yourself or to be angry at anyone else. So that's what the chapters were pretty much about.
And I have to say, it's a really, so I had the privilege again to read the chapter before anyone else. And I have to say that it's a really, really powerful one. There are two things you were saying about anger. I actually love anger. And the reason why I love anger, I keep saying this because it shows me where my boundaries are, first of all. When I'm angry, it's like, okay, that's my boundary. And then you were talking about we avoid emotions a lot, yes. So we need to, along the healing process, along the healing journey, we really need to give ourselves permission to feel those emotions. And I just would love to take a second to say thank you for all those who are watching us. Thank you, Sam, for all the comments. Yes, I will continue to use my voice to impact. Waiting for the book. Yes, stay tuned. It's going to be released on the 15th of May. But I would love to acknowledge someone else who's watching, and I miss you girls, so please get in touch with me. And that's T. I haven't seen you in ages, and I'm going to put that in this live show today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. So please, so please say hello to me, because I miss you. So we were saying about allowing emotions, right? How how do you stay grounded now when we talked about that. Things feel uncertain. Life is happening. We have downs, ups and downs. You are using your voice more and more, but still, what is it that you are using, or how do you keep yourself grounded when things are a little bit wobbly? How that happens?
Something that I used to do young when I was younger, and I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. I went back to being who I was at a certain space in my life when I felt I was being myself. I just stopped being around people. Literally.
Me too. No, that's big. That's actually really good. Okay? Because,
Yes.
no, go ahead.
Also, I'm sorry. As you, we're here for purpose. True. We're here for learning. We're here for the experience. We're here to understand emotions, patterns, whatever, whatnot, here on this earth. But we still need to decompress because we can't take all this in. And some of this stuff that we're taking in, we're not supposed to take in. That's not the one thing I like. There was one woman that used to say this all the time at a nursing skill facility. And I don't know if she's going to see this or not, but her name was Regina. Is Regina. I take that back. Is Regina. And she used to say, not my pony, not my show.
I used to,
And
not my monkey, not my circus, same thing. Yeah.
So she say it all the time. And it's like, that's none of my business. And some people would be like, they would take that as you just don't care. No, it's not that. It's just that I'm not taking that's not a part of my journey. That's yours. And that's where we mess up. We hear someone tell us a story about, girl, did you hear? Or, let me tell you what just happened. And next thing you know, we're all invested and we put our emotions all up in it. And that's not what we're supposed to do. We mess up when we do that. And that's how we get all caught up in everyone else's thing. And we're next thing you know, we're discombobulated. We have their emotions and our emotions, and we don't know which way to go. So,
True.
me working, having a daytime job as well, I have to decompress because when I come home from work, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to look at anyone. I need to back off because I need to get back to who I am. I still want to be a people person to a certain point, but at a certain point, we have to, again, take care of ourselves. And that's the one main thing. I stop it. When I know my body's tired, I let my body rest. It'll tell me, sit down, because if I don't, it will.
Oh, yeah.
I zone out. There are times when I will go Netflix. I'll just turn on Netflix and I just zone out
Me
because
too.
I don't want to think about anything else. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'll look at the phone, and we have to know when to pick up the phone and when not to. There are sometimes it's just like and if you get on the phone, knowing you're in that capacity where you don't have anything to give or give back, they're gonna get offended. They're gonna get offended if you don't answer the phone. But they're gonna get even more offended if you get on the phone, you really don't say anything. You don't win. So it's like, okay, I'd rather just not win and be okay with myself. But at least I'm at peace. You take the good with the bad, you take some wins, you take some losses, whether it is a win or a loss at all. But at the end of the day, you take care of yourself. So if it means pushing away from people, going to the water, go to the beach, do whatever it is that makes you happy. And sometimes I go in my backyard and I just stand out there and I look up at the trees. And that's all I do. I listen to the trees, the wind, the leaves blow, and I just zone out. So that's it.
Thank you for sharing that. And I recognize myself because I do that a lot of time. And it's not because I don't like people. And it's not because I'm very anti-social. That's the English word? Yeah. No, I'm not. But I need time for me to recharge, to regulate my nervous system, to come back to me. And yes, I zone out. Sometimes I'm watching Netflix for days. Sometimes I don't answer emails. I used to. On the moment when I received the message, I was the one who replied straight away. Not anymore.
Mm,
Not anymore. Okay? So we need that time to be with ourselves, to reflect, to recharge, to really just be and decompress. And I love that you said that that keeps you grounded. Yes, things are uncertain, but can I solve it right now in this very moment? No. Then what the heck? I can just
exactly.
give myself permission, to rest, and then, in the stillness, in the silence, and when you think that nothing is happening, that's when actually everything happens.
Exactly. You hear
So,
better, you think better, you can process better. But when it's all chaotic and everyone's at you, it's like, okay, my body literally tells me now without telling me. I'll get dizzy,
yeah, exactly.
literally mentally dizzy, and it's like I have nothing. I'm sorry, can't give it. It's not happening, and I'll shut down. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
No, really, I love it because, for example, a while ago, right, I was able to multitask. I did a couple of things all at the same time and I was paying attention to all of them all at the same time. Now, I can't focus only on one thing at a time because if there is a second thing, I'm gonna lose it like how I did it right now because I literally cannot. And that's okay because that shows that I'm healing.
Exactly.
I'm not functioning under pressure anymore. I'm not functioning under the need to perform anymore for
hmm
anyone else.
hmm
And that's a good thing, I think, And sometimes I'm like, Christina, it comes with age. No, it's not necessarily comes with age. It comes when you put yourself first, when you allow yourself to move in a slower pace, because we are so used to use our masculine side, which is the always do, do, do. We have to be constantly moving. It was really hard for me to sit in a meditation for 5 minutes. While I'm sitting here, I'm doing nothing. Now I can be very well myself, quiet, doing literally nothing, just, as you said, zoning out. And no, I'm not crazy. I'm perfectly fine.
Exactly.
So this is how we keep ourselves grounded. Yeah. So guys, if I forgot to mention, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. And thank you for all of you who already did that. Um, I would also love to ask you, because we talked a lot about rising, okay, and the book is called The Courage to Rise as well. It has different phases for me, at least. What rising means to you now? How does that look like? What does it mean to you now?
Wow. I like that because that actually is my tagline is one of my taglines is rise above the ashes. Actually, it's
I know.
the subtitle for my second book under What the Hell. So it literally is the second book is What the Hell, rise above the ashes. And for me, it's shedding the old skin that I was in. And it could be shedding of an old skin that was actually not even mine. Like someone else put it on me. This is how you need to be. This is how you need to walk. This is how you need to act. This is how you need to talk. This is how you, whatever, you've been like you said, programmed from the minute you hit the earth. Your parents are telling you how to act. This is how you should be. This is the proper way to do this. This is the proper way to do that. This is how you speak. No, this is not right because that's because of just so much, and then you go from the parents to the siblings, from the siblings to the grandparents, to the community, your friends, teachers, everyone. It's like, so when I finally started my initial healing, the courage, the coming, rising above the ashes was me letting go of what everyone else thought I should be, even if it means speaking up for myself. There was a point where someone told me one time, you shouldn't gray your hair. No, several people told me, you shouldn't gray your hair because it makes you look older. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be 23 anymore. I've done that. It didn't get me anywhere. I like who I am. You should dress this way because such and such. And then I started
I
hearing
got
other
that.
people talk about, oh my God, I couldn't do that because I'm worried about my image. Well, honey, your image comes from inside, not outside. That's not your image. That not your inside is going to change every year. And it's up to you to understand and love who you are in that skin. That's who you that's the skin that you decided to come into when you decided to have this journey. So, your spirit already knew that, but image has nothing to do with what's on the outside. It's all on the inside. If you're a nice person, it's not going to matter whether you're gray hair, pink hair, green hair. The image is going to bring out the beauty in who you truly are. But if that's what you're focused on the outside, then you're not. You got it backwards. So courage to rise for me, that's what it was. Shedding from everyone else's opinions, thoughts, programmings, and I didn't care who it was, family or not. I did not care. I pushed back. I pushed back hard. And there's one sibling, my one of my elder brothers, and he really doesn't. He's not good at compliments. He's really not. He will not give a compliment. I swear I have not heard one compliment from this man in my life. Not a congratulations, not anything. And at first, years ago, that used to hurt me because he was also the one that was the hardest on me to succeed in life, to graduate, get the good grades, to finish college and do this and that. So when I didn't go, when I, should have, I got talked about. I got reamed. I got, he was hard on me. That's the best way I can put it. I look back in life now, I'm like, it just wasn't the path that he wanted me to go on. I wasn't supposed to go on. And I think at some point in life, he even understood that's like, yeah, she not gonna do that. So one time, and I'm taking this as a compliment from him. He said it, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what he said. He said, you've never been the type to let any dust or something stop you from doing what it is you need to do. Basically, he was saying, You do what it is you need to do, however you need to do it, whenever you need to do it. And I heard it. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't say anything to him, but if he sees this, he's gonna hear. I'm like, did he just say that?
You do you, huh?
He just okay. I said okay. I'm not saying two words because for me that was him giving me my roses, And I'm like, I'm to the point where now, he's still hard on me, not as hard as he used to be, but I get it now. Whereas before I didn't get it because we were like this.
Mm.
I was the youngest of all the siblings. I'm the baby. So I'm
Oh,
fighting for my life, for all of them. Like, I need all of y'all to leave me the heck alone. But I appreciate it now. And I know now that my elder siblings see me, they see the individual that I was supposed to be or I was growing into being, and it wasn't going to be anything that my dad wanted, that they thought I should be. They saw, and it's a lot more seen now than before because I am using my voice, and I have risen from all of the stereotypes and all of the stigmas and everything else, And I still, there are times when I still have to find that voice in me and speak up for myself. Even when I'm nervous about it, I'm like, oh my God, did I just say that? They're going to get mad. But I have to do it because it's from my own life.
thank you for sharing that. I love it. And yes, you do you, because at the end of the day, you know, people will criticize, people will judge us, even if we do good or bad, even if we dress pink or red, even if we dye or not our hair, they will always find something to judge us. So why not just simply, rising. Let's put it this way: rising, it means just do you. You do you. Be yourself. It's gonna be a little bit interesting. It's gonna be a little bit different at the beginning until you get used with the new you. And I had this conversation with, I think, almost all the ladies who are in the book, in the Courage to Rise. And I'm saying this because there is an old you, there is a new you, and then there is a
Mhm.
transition phase. Now that's the
Yes.
hardest, when the old and the new, they are like, as you said, like this. The old,
Mhm.
tries to stick, but the new is emerges, and then this, there is a little bit of confusion. There is a little bit of, okay, you don't really understand what's going on with me. I want to shout, but I don't want to shout because that's not me anymore. I want to, but it's not me anymore. So it's it's a messy, messy transition phase.
Yes.
But I
Mhm.
think that's the beauty of it, because when you come out on the other side, that's the new you. That's gonna be a completely, I wouldn't say different person, because it's the same person without the labels, without the conditioning, and unlearned a lot of things. So that's,
Mhm.
thank you for, if someone is at the point, and I think I'm gonna close with this last question today. So if someone is at the point where something feels off in their lives, okay, but they don't know what to do yet, what would you say to them? You have that feeling that, good, good, but not really.
Mhm. Mhm. I've had it several times in my
Yeah,
life.
me too, me too.
Ah, one particular time, and I don't know if that's in the book or not, but I'm gonna kind of skirt around it a little bit. But it was at a low point in my life. And I would have to say, when you get to that point, listen. Listen to what's going on within yourself. There comes a point in time in your life where we've grown up going to other people, well, what do you think about this and how do you feel about this? So my question or my encouragement to you would be to start asking yourself, what do you feel about it? What's going on inside you? You know something doesn't feel right. You know you feel out of place. You just don't know how to get there. And the first thing you do is go, okay, so first let me say this, not negating anyone in a quote unquote spiritual aspect as far as like a church or, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's okay to have that for guidance, but at the same time, that guidance should always lead you back to self. Always lead you back to self, because if you're consistently asking someone else what you should do, you're basically giving your power away. there comes a time in your life when you start asking questions, which is what I did. Something's not right about this. Something doesn't feel right. I clearly heard the voice in my head say, go study. And that was the beginning. I was in mid healing mode then. That was about 10 years before my really bad situation in when I lived in California. 10 years later. But I was in the midst of another situation. I'm like, something's wrong. I know it is because it wouldn't leave me alone. When you get to that point, stop. Don't ask anyone anything. If you don't know the questions to ask yourself, just get quiet. Spend time with yourself. And the answers, I guarantee you, will come. You don't have to always reach out to ask someone else what you should do with your life because it's your life. And only you know what you need to do with it.
It's true. No, I completely 100% agree with you. Everything comes from within. And the truth is that when you ask a question, the answer is already within you if you allow it to come to surface. So it's simple as that. So Matt, tell me what is it that you are working on right now? Okay, we talked about this at the beginning, and if someone resonated with you and they would love to get in touch with you, where they can find you, and what is it that you are offering?
So I am, of course, a life coach and counselor. I do Reiki and also touch breath work and art therapy as well, art healing therapy. So I'm also my biggest project right now is a nonprofit sector where it's for women outreach for women who are in the lower or lesser served communities. We're doing providing food, we're providing care boxes for hygiene. We're also going to be hitting different areas to work with women and art healing as well. So that's coming in the next few months or so, hopefully around the last quarter of this year. But we're right now getting around in the communities. And the thing that we're doing right now is just trying to work with women in the greater metro Nashville areas to provide them with monthly care boxes and find out how many of them we can get into the program and under the nonprofit sector to try to start with the healing harsh portion of it. And we're going to use art to do that initially. That's just going to be a piece of it, but it's a lot. Right now we're getting donations for food, which we have I have a couple different sponsors. We're also getting donations from a lot of different people in different states. I've gotten a couple different donations already for hygiene products for women, which is huge. Women do need those things. So if you want to contribute, please contact and reach out to me at info@rebirthholistic.org. And you can go to the website as well if you want to donate, or if you want to, if you're in the metro Nashville area, you can go to the website, which is www.rebirthholistic.org, all one word, and reach out. Tap on donate, tap on the programs to see what you can do to help and see what we're all about.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate it. I'm going to put your contact details in the comments. So if you would love to get in touch with Melvinia, you will find her, where she said. And also I'm going to put in the comments so it's going to be a little bit more easier. I would love to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for you, for being part of my life, for being there for me, for being a pillar for me, when I get all angry, for for being here in the show, and also to walk with me on this journey of being, a curator and being a contributing author to the book. This is a gentle reminder, everyone, that it's going to be released on the 15th of May, so stay tuned. We're going to share a little bit of more details in the next coming days. I also would love to say thank you to all of you who watched today, live, or you are going to watch in the replay. For now, I'm going to say thank you once again, sending you lots of love and light, and I'm going to see you next time again. Bye for now.
All right.